I'm JP Tuesday.
And I'm Kiki Cannon. As lifelong Disney fans, the work of countless talented Disney creatives have shaped our lives.
Now, as the Disney catalog expands, we're taking a journey through film and television to discover if that spark that shaped us as children lives on in adulthood.
Does your favorite Disney media still cast that same spell? Join us as we find out. We are Rewatching the Magic.
Hi, Kiki.
Hop it, lock it, polka dot it, hip hop it, countrify it.
Come on, Kiki. You get the limo out front, hottest styles, every shoe, every color. Yeah, you're the famous one and it can be kind of fun, but it's really you, but no one ever discovers. In some ways, you're just like all your friends, but on stage, you're the star. You get the best of both worlds. Oh, I felt dirty doing that.
You should feel dirty doing that. We should all feel dirty as a society for letting this happen.
Yeah, we are talking Hannah Montana. Specifically, Hannah Montana, the movie. This came from a discussion that we had a couple of weeks back of wanting to do more DCOMs. And okay, what DCOMs could we do? And Kiki, you had thrown out Hannah Montana, the movie. Turns out this was not a DCOM. This was a theatrically released movie. Disney released a theatrical movie based off a Disney Channel series. And I'm surprised about that. But then again, one of the High School Musical movies was also theatrically released. And I'm pretty sure the Lizzie McGuire movie was also theatrically released. That's how popular those three things were for Disney in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I am going to tell you, when I think of Hannah Montana and my deep trauma relating to Hannah Montana, it is not Miley Cyrus and Disney that I think of. Fun little story. When I was doing my graduate degree, I was helping a student organization I was in do a fundraiser. Okay, like you do when you're in college. And I had to sit in the student union for about 8 hours one day. 8 full hours. We're talking about a full job shift, people. Selling whatever it was we were selling. I don't even remember. But it just happened that the school was promoting this hot hip-hop group that was going to be visiting our campus. Tuesday, can you guess what hip-hop group was going to be visiting our campus?
Hot hip-hop group? Migos?
Yes, because they had just released their song, Hannah Montana. And to promote students buying tickets, they were loudly blasting on repeat for 8 hours the Migos song, Hannah Montana. Now, if you have been fortunate enough to have never heard the Migos song, Hannah Montana, let me tell you, 90% of the lyrics of the Migos song, Hannah Montana, are Hannah Montana, 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 Hannah Montana. That's about 90% of the lyrics to that song. It's just them repeating the name Hannah Montana, which I had to listen to for 8 solid hours. That is a violation of the Geneva Conventions. So yeah, that is not. So yeah, my first thought when I think of Hannah Montana is not Disney Channel and cute and best of both worlds. No, no, no. It is Migos torturing me for 8 hours straight, just repeating the words Hannah Montana. The rest of the song is about doing hard drugs, and apparently that is a code word for doing hard drugs. So that's my Hannah Montana trauma, dear listener. Also, I really hate Migos as a group because of that.
So, like, Hannah Montana only ran for 4 seasons, but the way Disney Channel kind of aired the episodes and how they handled their television shows in general, this was airing between, like, 2006 to 2011. That's almost 6 years for 4 seasons. If you're complaining about years-long delays in your Netflix TV shows, yeah. But keep in mind that Hannah Montana was doing like 30 episodes a year. So 30 episodes over like a year and a half isn't that bad. So this movie was released somewhere in the middle of the 3rd season. They thought it would be the last. This movie was a success enough to give one more season for Hannah Montana into 2011. Though I think season 3 aired for another year after the movie came out.
Yeah, and this movie came out in 2009. So, the fact that it took them until like 2011 to get that final season out. Yeah.
Yeah. And because of the success of the movie, they started incorporating characters from the movie into the TV show. Like Miley's horse, Blue Jeans. And I have not seen the show. I am reading off the Wikipedia, folks.
Yeah, that was the thing is, I think this was a first watch for both of us.
Yeah.
And neither of us have seen a single episode of the TV series, correct?
I have not.
I have not either.
Anything I know about this show is purely through osmosis of reading social media posts and the occasional social media video.
Yeah, I think pretty much everything I know about Hannah Montana, the series, comes from Todd in the Shadows. Shout out to Todd in the Shadows. Go subscribe to him on YouTube. Or on Nebula. Great streaming service. Go subscribe to them. They are awesome, and they are owned by their creators. They give us no money. I just am a fan of their product.
So what is the premise of Hannah Montana? For those of us like us who are way out of the age range to watch the original show, young Miley Cyrus plays Miley Stewart. And, this is a big jump for her. She plays the daughter of a famous country music singer. I think she can do that.
Yeah. Robbie Ray Stewart.
Yeah. Played by her father, Billy Ray Cyrus. At least they kept the Ray.
Here's the thing that I didn't realize just from watching the movie. I didn't realize he was supposed to have been like a famous country singer.
Again, I'm reading off the Wikipedia, so I guess that's something from the TV show.
Yeah, they don't ever really say it in the movie, but all of her family just kind of sings. But the thing is that that's not really unusual. Like, the movie shows when she goes and hangs out with her family, they just kind of like sit down and have like, bluegrass circles and whatever. And if your family has a musical inclination, that's not unusual in the South, It's not unusual for either families to sit around and do that, or just like if you have a bunch of friends who are musical to, everybody show up and just have some kind of, musical get together, show up, bring your instruments. We'll just sit and have a sing along. I've been to lots of those in my life. So the idea that he might have been famous at some point never occurred to me. It just occurred to me like, oh, she's just from a family that likes to sing.
Yeah, the TV show premise is that Robbie Ray retired from music after his wife died because he wanted to dedicate himself to raising his two children, Miley and Jackson. And then Miley started developing singing qualities of her own, and she wanted to follow in her father's footsteps. But she did not want the celebrity that comes with being a celebrity, because she grew up around it. She didn't want to be hounded by paparazzi. She didn't want any of all that. She wanted a normal life. She wanted the best of both worlds. You get it now?
It's so subtle.
Yeah, she wanted all of the fame and none of the drawbacks. So she creates a stage persona. Miley Stewart creates the stage persona Hannah Montana by putting a wig on. And now she is a teen pop star that tours the country and also has to go to a regular high school. She is kind of a nobody. And throughout the series, there are various things that happen that tempts her. I could reveal my secret. I could tell the world that I'm Hannah Montana and I could be the popular girl at school. But no, that means it's all over. And then I'll be all over the news and I will never have a moment's peace. I better keep my secret. Kiki, there is a show like this that you and I grew up watching that is very much Hannah Montana.
Was it outrageous?
Truly, truly, truly outrageous. Hannah Montana is gemming the holograms without the supercomputer.
Man, this show could have used a supercomputer.
Showtime synergy.
It could have used less Billy Ray Cyrus and more supercomputer.
It needed the Misfits. But, yeah. So, like, that is the entire premise of the show. And the only person who knows Miley's secret is her best friend, Lily.
Guys, This was the thing that shocked me. Because when I started watching the movie, I was like, wait, I recognize the best friend. And then I looked her up, and she is currently the star of Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. She's Mandy. It's the Young Sheldon spinoff. And she is brilliant. She is so funny. I adore her on that show. And all of a sudden I'm seeing her be like, second fiddle. Yeah. She's also Haley Joel Osment's sister.
Another Disney connection.
Yeah. It's, her brother sees dead people, and she is now married to young Sheldon's brother. But yeah, if you've never, it's not a Disney property, and we don't care because we're not only Disney, we just do a podcast about it. But yeah, if you've never watched Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, it's actually a pretty good sitcom. Those are pretty rare these days. But yeah, it was shocking to me to see her in this, because I didn't know that was the thing that she was in, but apparently it was. She was in the entire series and the movie, and yeah.
And apparently Miley has a bunch of other friends that we see during the opening of the movie and we never see for the rest of the movie, because apparently they're so important to the plot of the TV show that we give them one scene in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't even know their names. Again, I've never watched the show, but it's they have enough attention in that opening part of the movie that, okay, these are characters from the TV show that if we don't put them in the movie, the fans will get mad. That's all I got for those characters. Sorry, any Hannah Montana fans out there. I'm an old man. So this show, the TV show, and you can say the movie as well, had a little bit of a controversy. not in terms of production or anything, but in terms of the growing up of Miley Cyrus. This is 2025. Everybody knows Miley Cyrus. Everybody knows. I don't need to tell you. Miley Cyrus, in her on-stage persona, is a very provocative entertainer. And she was kind of starting that around the time of this movie, because she was an adult. So she wanted to shed that Disney image and have become a more adult performer. She's not a kid anymore. And that kind of drew some controversy. Hey, you're on a Disney show. You're the star of a Disney show. Lot of little girls look up to you. Maybe you should keep the squeaky clean image as long as this TV show is on the air. And Miley was like, I gotta be me. I gotta grow up. I'm not a kid anymore. That was the start of that whole thing. And that was the controversy. Disney kid is becoming this provocative entertainer that a lot of people think, hey, why don't you tone it down? You shouldn't be doing this. Your audience is primarily young girls. And it reminds me a lot of today we get with Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina Carpenter was a Disney kid. She starred in the TV show Girl Meets World, which I wonder if we should cover that at some point, because we did grow up watching Boy Meets World. At least I did.
Yeah.
And Girl Meets World is the sequel series. Sabrina Carpenter was in that. And after the show ended, like Miley Cyrus, she continued her music career. Like Miley Cyrus, she decided, I'm not a kid anymore. I want to be an adult. And she decided, like Miley Cyrus, to become a more provocative entertainer. And she also gets the same complaint that Miley Cyrus was getting, in that your audience is primarily young girls, and you should be a better role model to these young girls than doing these provocative songs and provocative stage presence. And like Miley Cyrus, Sabrina Carpenter gives those critics the finger. Gotta respect it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I will say there is a lot of sexism in this, because the guys that come up in Disney, they don't get that same problem, you know? Let's look at other previous Disney kids who had music careers, okay? Let's look at the late 80s, early 90s Mickey Mouse Club, okay? Because we've got several big names in that. So we've got, like, probably the biggest one, Britney Spears. We've got Christina Aguilera in that cast, too. All right? We got Justin Timberlake in that cast. We got Ryan Gosling for a bit. We got JC Chasez, okay, in there, from NSYNC. All right. So they all went on to have adult careers in the most, provocative sense of the word adult after they left the Disney roster. Okay? They started out as child stars, and then they went on into more provocative things. Okay? Now, Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera especially got some absolute horrific heat for their transition from child star, teen pop star, into adult musician, adult pop star, acting, whatever they did. Correct? I mean,
Yeah.
we remember those times. I mean, Britney Spears especially, poor thing had just mental breakdown after mental breakdown, and you cannot blame her. Okay? Meanwhile, Justin Timberlake's out there bringing sexy back. Did anybody go, oh my goodness, he's being such a bad influence for the kids? I mean, I'm not saying it's a non-zero number, but did anybody hound Justin Timberlake for being, the worst influence on little boys and their purity and their, correct me if I'm wrong.
None that I can think of off the top of my head.
I mean, like I said, you can probably find an outlier, but I dare you to find me anything like what happened to Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera or Miley Cyrus or Sabrina Carpenter, or list goes on.
Anne Hathaway. Yeah.
Did that happen to, JC from NSYNC? Did it happen when Ryan Gosling started taking adult roles in his acting career? Did it?
You can go back to Annette Funicello.
Absolutely.
When she started doing the Beach Party movies. Was the kid from the original Mickey Mouse Club, and she's doing these movies in a bikini.
Yeah, and Annette got all the heat, but did Frankie Avalon? Again, I'm willing to be corrected, but if you can find me a guy in that position that got even half as much heat as a woman in a similar position.
You know what? Disney kid, guy that never got any heat back for being a more adult actor, Kurt Russell. We've talked about his Disney past.
Yeah.
The only one I can think of, Bobby Driscoll, and that was because he was gay.
Yeah, that's about it. And we have definitely talked about that before. But yeah, I mean, straight male, Disney kid stars do not get that sort of thing. And I feel so bad because, and it's not just the Disney stars either. Jenna Ortega is having the same issue because, she's in her 20s or whatever, and she's playing Wednesday over on Netflix, which is supposed to be, a teenage, underage role. And she wants to be, in her personal life and her professional life outside of Wednesday and stuff. She wants to be her own age, which fair, and people are upset with her for doing that because she started playing this one role when she was a teenager. And it's taken so long for the series to be made that she is no longer a teenager anymore. And she wants to be her own age. And it's gotta suck because, like you said, Hannah Montana, going back to the topic at hand, they started filming when Miley Cyrus was closer to the character's age. And by the time they finished the series, she is no longer anywhere near the age of the character she is playing. She is an adult by that point. And yeah, they style her so that she looks younger. And, she's got a good makeup team and she's got, decent genetics and she's rich and how we've talked about that before. You're not ugly, you're just poor kind of thing. Money gets you a long way in the looks department. But she, by the time this movie was made, she was already in her 20s, I think. She's an adult. She wants to be an adult. I think this was around the same time, or maybe a little bit later. I don't know, that we have the infamous twerking incident.
The Wrecking Ball music video.
Yeah. I don't know. It was like a year or two later maybe. It's just I feel so bad because you can kind of understand the point of this series, the best of both worlds kind of thing. Uh in that yeah, you kind of would want to hide yourself if you could.
I mean, if any celebrity could do it, they probably would, But, the paparazzi still hounds them down. How often do you see paparazzi videos of just a celebrity trying to not look like themselves just to go to the store and shop? They want to go to Disney World and they don't want to be recognized, so they'll put on sunglasses and a hat.
Apparently, Dolly Parton can just walk around and not be recognized because Dolly Parton's look that you're used to is so different from what she looks like. Somebody once asked her, like, how long does it take to do your hair? And she said, I don't know, I'm never there when it's done. Because her hair on stage is always wigs and stuff.
Similar age, similar characterization, Elvira. You take that wig off Cassandra Peterson, you don't recognize her.
Yeah, I mean, until you know what she looks like without all the Elvira stuff, yeah, Cassandra Peterson can kind of just walk around and only like really hardcore fans would ever recognize her. Going back to the Hannah Montana thing, when you're talking about the idea, I think this is kind of wish fulfillment for a lot of people like, Billy Ray Cyrus or Miley Cyrus or people who have been famous and wished that they could have gone back in time and been like, ooh, if I could just throw on a pair of, Superman glasses, like if I had my Clark Kent glasses, and that could hide me, and I could, do my job that I like and then just take that costume off and just live the rest of my life as just me. That would be great.
But we spend a good deal talking about everything else, mostly because there's not a lot here, folks. Not a lot here.
I think off mic you said this was a Hallmark movie, but not as good.
Yeah, we'll get to it. So let's kind of finally dive into what the hell this movie's about. So we have Miley as Hannah, and it looks like she's kind of diving more and more into the famous celebrity part of being famous. The Hannah Montana is taking over more of Miley's life. The movie starts with her getting stalked by a gossip reporter. He breaks into her private dressing room while she's filming a music video. Yeah, that big, old, middle-aged man sneaking into a teenager's private dressing room.
Security, where is security? Why does this girl not have security?
Yeah, I mean, it's not until her brand new publicist comes in.
Played by Vanessa Williams. My favorite part of Todd in the Shadows doing his review of this movie was Vanessa Williams, who used to have a career of her own.
Saved the best for last.
Yep.
But yeah, Vanessa Williams plays the publicist who seems to be the only security this teenage pop star has in her private dressing room. While this middle-aged man is going there taking pictures of her while she is undressing.
He almost catches her taking off her wig.
Mm-hmm.
What that would have proven, because so many, not only just like, musicians and actors, but just normal people wear wigs. Like, I have a whole collection of wigs.
I work with women who wear wigs on a daily basis. And they're not famous at all.
It is so much easier to wear a wig a lot of times than to do your own natural hair. Like, yeah.
But, we gotta keep the secret. Gotta keep the secret. Hannah Montana has a secret? I'm going to stalk her for the rest of this movie to find out whatever this secret is. That is this reporter's entire storyline.
Yeah, there are two villains in this movie, and he is one of them.
And the reporter is constantly called by his editor. Where's my story? Get me a story. I don't care what you have to do. Get me this Hannah Montana story. Because in this world, Hannah Montana is the most popular pop star in the world. Miley Cyrus as the most popular pop star in the world, I think she can do that.
Yeah.
So she ends up almost missing her best friend's birthday party because she has to buy a brand new outfit because she has been a last-minute replacement to perform at an award show after Beyonce had to bow out.
No, we have to talk about the thing that happens while she is there, because she gets into a fight with Tyra Banks over a pair of shoes.
Yes, because Miley/Hannah wants to buy the shoes for her best friend's birthday because the shoes are her size. But they're also Tyra Banks' friend's size. And they have a fight in the store over these shoes. Miley throws the shoes like ninja stars at Tyra Banks. Like, this is the best scene in the movie, is a heavy choreographed fight over shoes between Tyra Banks and Miley Cyrus.
The evil reporter gets video and pictures and stuff of this fight, and it makes it into the tabloid and all that. But also, because he's stalking Miley/Hannah, she's not able to change from Hannah back into Miley to go to her best friend's birthday party. And so she has to show up at the birthday party as Hannah, which of course draws all the attention away from the best friend. And the best friend's like, I'll never forgive you for taking the focus away from me at my own Sweet 16 party, and we're not going to be friends anymore. Even though Miley as Hannah is trying to be like, hey, I'm here to make a good birthday for my number one fan, Lily, and everybody look at Lily, we've got cake, and it's her birthday, pay attention to her. Poor Miley is trying.
Lily's family's got to be loaded because she rented out the entirety of Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah, that's like a hell of a birthday party. My birthdays are always the most depressing thing, and I'm like, I don't know. I would have just jumped on stage with her and been like, yeah, I'm best friends with Hannah Montana. Come at me, biznitches,
But the point wasn't that. The point was that, they're best friends, and I assume Miley made this promise to never upstage her as Hannah, and she broke that promise. On her birthday, at her birthday party.
I know what they're trying to do, but it's like, how much clout would you get? Like, maybe not on the day, but your birthday party would be talked about at every high school reunion for the rest of your life.
Hey, remember that time Hannah Montana showed up at your Sweet 16 party? Yeah, it was awesome. Do you really know Hannah Montana? Oh, yeah. I bought her first album before she ever got with a label and everything.
Yeah, like, you would still, like, you would be a legend, if you would just go with it and realize that maybe something had happened. I'm not blaming Lily for her feelings in this. I get it, but Miley is at least trying, like, everything she says keeps trying to redirect the attention to Lily. She's not like, hey, I'm Hannah Montana, look at me. She keeps saying, look at Lily. It's Lily's birthday. Lily is awesome, And yeah, okay, the crowd is not really listening so much. But, like, if Lily had kind of played into it a little bit, and, like, if Miley as Tana had been like, get up on stage and dance with me, Lily, it's your big day. We're here to celebrate you. This song is dedicated to you. Everybody chant Lily's name because she's awesome. Like, she could have done a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? And if Lily
Yeah.
had just gone with it, it would have kind of worked out, I think. But at the same time, I get why Lily was mad.
So yeah. So Lily, in her anger, ends up getting cornered by the gossip reporter and blabs about Hannah's upbringing, the town she grew up in, and everything, because she's angry, and you tend to not do rational things when you're angry. And old Bobby Ray here is not happy of this last minute musical appearance that she's making at this awards show, because it is Miley's grandmother's birthday, her mother's birthday, and she promised to go, and she's about to blow off her grandmother to go to this award show, and Bobby Ray is not having it. The publicist gets her a private jet to take her to and from New York. So hey, she'll be flying out to New York. She'll fly back as soon as the award show is over, and we'll fly her directly to the hometown in Tennessee, so she won't miss her grandmother's birthday party. Bobby Ray just decides, screw it. We're not going to do the award show. We're going to go straight to Tennessee. By the way, you're grounded from being Hannah for 2 weeks, because Hannah is changing you. I don't like what you're changing into with Hannah, and you need, in his own words, Hannah detox. I don't know what that's going to do for the career of Hannah Montana after she had replaced an artist at the very last minute for an award show, and then no shows the award show.
Later on, Vanessa Williams shows up and is like, well, thanks for almost losing me my job by, no showing the event. I forgive you, kind of snarkily. So, that it's a big deal. But, I kind of want to know how Billy Ray here gets this flight diverted. I mean, I know it's a private jet and everything, but seriously?
I mean, they're not poor. She is the biggest pop star in the world. He likely slipped a couple of $1,000 to the pilot and say, hey, we're going here instead.
Yeah, but it's not always that simple. I mean, like I said, I know private jet, but you do have to kind of, like, redirect flight plans and all that kind of stuff,
It's a Disney movie for kids.
I know. It's not the worst thing in this movie as far as stretching your disbelief, but still. I'm going to say this is the time in the movie where we get to the best part of the movie, which is the grandma. Because first of all, it's Margot Martindale. You cannot hate Margot Martindale as an actor. Also, her name is Ruby, which was my grandmother's name. And I was very close to my grandmother, and yeah. So that made me go like, aww. So, yeah. Points to this movie for using my grandmother's name and also casting Margot Martindale.
And she's very happy because her grandbaby is home. One thing that I will give this movie to, and Kiki, I think you kind of figured out where I'm going with this. In the car ride going to Grandma's house, and Billy Ray is grounding Miley 2 weeks without Hannah. Miley is so angry, the Southern comes out of her.
Yeah.
Friends, dear listeners, I have known Kiki a very long time, and I have seen her very angry. And when Kiki is very angry, the Southern comes out of her.
Someone once told me that my accent only really reasserts itself if I am extremely angry or extremely drunk. Those are the two times.
So that is how I know Miley is capital P angry.
Yeah.
This is the point where this movie becomes a Hallmark movie. What are the tropes of a Hallmark movie? You have the big city person coming back to their hometown, and then they meet someone from their hometown, usually someone that they grew up with, that teaches them, oh, you've been in the big city too long. You gotta learn how the small town life is, and look how great it is living in the small town world. So we get, like, this boy that Miley used to go to grade school with that she has completely forgotten about because she's been living out in California being a big star for so long that, yeah, you know, you're all California now. You got to learn how to be Tennessee again. And that's the little romantic story between Miley and this boy, Travis. Lucas Till, before anybody knew who he really was.
Yeah, and if you know who he is, good for you. I had to look him up because I was like, he kind of looks familiar, and then I realized he was Havoc in the X-Men First Class or whatever that crap is.
Also, was the new MacGyver in the reboot.
Yeah, who cares? I'm sorry, that sure sucks.
But that is this movie. This movie has become the Hallmark movie where big city girl Miley has to relearn the small town life from her schoolyard buddy Lucas, and they start a little bit of a flirtation and a crush on each other. Yeah. Miley does not like being back home. Miley is very, oh, you want me to be Southern again? I'll give you Southern. She goes annoyingly Southern, over the top with the accent. But, of course, you know, they play it up. She's been a big city girl for too long. She doesn't know how to pick the eggs from the chickens. She doesn't even know how to ride a horse anymore. And even her grandmother says, oh, you might be, you know, big pop star Hannah Montana over there, but just, you know, you forgot what it was like to be plain old Miley. So that's the point of the movie, is Miley reconnecting with her roots and learning how the small town life goes. It's a Hallmark movie, but it's done very, very badly. I'm waiting for the point where this becomes Christmas and Lucas turns out to be the real Santa Claus.
Yeah, so I said there were two villains in this movie. The other one is Barry Bostwick. A-hole.
Family-friendly movie. Family-friendly movie. I can't say what I want to say. He's
A-hole.
Brad Majors. Brad Majors. He's a Brad Majors. And
we can say a-hole.
We can say a-hole. He is an a-hole. He is playing Brad Majors in this movie. Damn.
What's so funny is I watched the movie last night as we're recording this, and today I woke up and I had to listen to the Rocky Horror Picture Show soundtrack. So that's what I did today while I was running all my errands.
It is a Fox film.
Yeah. Yeah, but the reason he's a villain, ooh, big villain, is he wants to build a mall in town. Because
gentrification! He wants to gentrify the town and make office buildings and malls.
Yeah, he wants to make this a livable place. The guy who owned the town, like, left the town to the people, but the people are so poor that they can't afford the taxes on the land or something. So this developer, Brad Majors, wants to buy up the land and build a mall and, you know, office buildings and some other things, and, you know, basically make the town a town instead of a hole in the wall. And when Miley hears this, her first reaction is, wait, a mall? There would be a mall here, like as in something to do, a place to hang out, like something to do other than sit on grandma's farm and stare at chickens.
And occasionally go to the local hoedown, which actually does happen in the movie.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And the grandma's like, "Shut up, girl. We like having nothing to do." You know?
You being a southern girl that did in fact lived in the big city at one point.
Yeah, and you know what I liked about the big city? There was stuff to do. Like I could leave the house and do things. You know, I've personally told you this before, but you know, if I want to leave the house and do something, once it hits maybe 10 p.m. here, my choices are the Waffle House or the other Waffle House or the other Waffle House. Yes, my town has 3 Waffle Houses. I do not live in a big city. I live in a very small town, yet we have 3 Waffle Houses. And once it hits 10 p.m., the only thing that you can do is go to the Waffle House. You can't go to a late movie. You can't, like, go to a bar. You can't go to you can go to a Waffle House. That's it. And even before 10 p.m., like, technically my town has a mall. Like, there's a building that's called a mall, but 3 of the 4 anchor stores have closed in the last few years. One of the anchor stores is currently being used as a Spirit Halloween as we are recording this because it's that time of year. So only 1 anchor store is left. And only a few of the interior stores are left. So it's barely a functioning mall anymore. We used to have a 24-hour Walmart until COVID. And now even the 24-hour Walmart closes. You know, I mean, there is nothing to do in my town. You have to travel to a different town to do something. And watching this movie, this town is smaller than my town. There's less to do, but it's kind of like if you've lived in a small town like that, especially if you're a young person, this isn't like, oh my goodness, let's save our like community center so the kids have someplace to hang out. This is literally, let's make sure the kids have nowhere to hang out because the old folks don't want things to change.
And that leads us to the Hoedown, which is a fundraiser to keep the town as it is with no changes whatsoever.
And this is where the movie needed a trigger warning. I actually screamed at my TV watching this.
A wild Taylor Swift appears!
Ah! No movie, you do not get to throw Taylor Swift at me with no warning.
So this movie has Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus in it.
I actually like Miley Cyrus. I really do. Like, I think she's very talented. I don't like her as Hannah Montana. I don't like the show Hannah Montana. But, like, now that she's an adult and she's making her own choices, I actually really like a lot of her music. Her cover of Jolene, if you've never heard it, go look it up on YouTube. It's amazing. She's got the perfect voice for it. Oh my goodness, it's incredible. A lot of her stuff I really love. I'm not a big fan of her father. I've never really been a big fan of Billy Ray. But I actually really do like Miley Cyrus as a singer. So she's not my problem. But you do not just throw Taylor Swift at me without, like, you know, strapping me down and giving me lots of sedatives.
And this is T Swift back when she was a country singer. Like,
yeah, before she was T Swizzle.
Yeah, it's just a cameo. If she doesn't add anything, she's there to sing a song, and that's it.
Taylor Swift never adds anything, always subtracts.
So I guess we're not going to do that Taylor Swift concert that's on Disney Plus?
Absolutely not. That would be the end of this podcast and our friendship.
So, yeah, and that leads to Miley doing a song that combines country and hip-hop called Ho Down, Throw Down, which is her rapping to a country beat and doing this really lame dance that is clearly designed for the little girls watching the movie to learn how to do so they can do a very simplistic dance.
Actually, as far as line dances go, this one is very complicated. I had to learn a lot of line dances in my day. This is what passed for PE growing up in the South. I'm just gonna say that. Back in the day when you had to learn the achy breaky and the tush push and the all the other nonsense.
There's our Billy Ray Cyrus song reference.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't even remember, I don't think, that there was a line dance to go along with that song. And if you don't remember that, good for you. And if I just brought up a lot of trauma for you, I apologize. But the hoedown throwdown is actually a really, really complicated line dance. So
pop it, lock it, and polka dot it.
Like that part of it is actually very simple. But as the song goes on, it gets really, really complicated. And I was really shocked. I was like, oh, this, at first I was like with you. I was like, okay, so this is for like little kids to learn and be like, I'm going to learn little Miley, the Hannah Montana dance. But then it gets like, I'm like, this is not like a little TikTok dance, This is, that hits really complicated choreography towards the end there.
Guess, I wonder if they thought this was going to be like a big hit because they play it during the ending credits and it's like the entire cast doing the dance.
But if you notice, most of the cast can't do the dance.
They're just doing whatever.
Yeah, Vanessa Williams can kind of do it because, she's decent enough, but most of the cast cannot do the dance because it gets that they start off okay and then it just falls apart because it's a really, really,
yeah, but after all of that, Barry Bostwick comes in and says, hey, you can have as many fundraisers as you want. You'll never have the money to buy the town back unless you can have a really big star to do a big fundraiser. You'll never raise the money. Uh-oh, Lucas, little cowboy boyfriend, love interest. Miley knows Hannah Montana. They're best friends.
Yeah, because early in the movie, we skipped over it, but early in the movie, he was like, hey, did you ever meet anybody famous living out in LA? And she's like, oh, I know Hannah Montana. Yeah, I saved her from drowning in a surfing accident or something, like she makes something up. And here he goes blabbing like, Miley's best friends with Hannah Montana. She can make her come do a fundraiser concert and we can save the town.
So yeah, now Lily has to pretend to be Hannah Montana for like 5 minutes in the limo, getting into the house, hugging Miley, and they have their little moment of, oh, I forgive you for doing this. I forgive you for doing that. Wait, you're the reason this reporter's after me?
Oops. Also, can I just say, like, that wig is magical? Because apparently if anybody puts on that wig, they're just automatically Hannah Montana.
Keep in mind, Lily is also wearing the world's biggest sunglasses that cover half her face.
Yeah, but still. I mean, and I know that the reporter is just seeing her from behind. So it's just like a random chick in a blonde wig,
Luckily that after 3 seasons on the show, the 2 actresses are still the same height.
Yeah.
If one of these actresses had a growth spurt in those 3 seasons, they would be screwed.
Yeah.
We did skip over something, and I kind of want to talk about it now that we're here. How many plots are we in here? A, B, C, D, E, F, G plot here. as Billy Ray Cyrus here has a love interest in the movie.
Yeah, played by Melora Hardin, who probably best known for The Office. She played Jan on The Office. I know her because she's the daughter of Jerry Hardin, who was Deep Throat on X-Files.
Yeah, so she plays a local woman named Lorelai, and he and old Robbie Ray Stewart kind of get together, and they have a little bit of a flirtation, and you know, he's finally dating after however many years after his wife died.
Well, Grandma Ruby is like, you two go kiss. Like it's not really like they're attracted to each other and it happens naturally. Like Grandma Ruby's like,
she's playing matchmaker.
Yeah, I'm locking you two in the closet for 7 minutes in heaven, and if you don't come out engaged, I'm gonna be mad. Like.
And that is another troubling point for Miley, is that for the first time in however long, her father is happy. And throughout the course of the movie, Miley now having to juggle being Miley and Hannah, having to keep that secret, and darn near ruining dinner with the mayor of the town. We'll get back to this in a minute, but I want to, yeah. So, like, she's invited to be a special guest at the mayor having dinner, and she damn near ruins it because she's, for a movie, we get sitcom trope, because now she has to be in two places at once, where she has to be Hannah having dinner with the mayor while also going on a date with her cowboy boyfriend as Miley. In typical sitcom fashion, good things, these two things are right next to each other. As she can dive out of one building, go into the next, changing clothes, taking the wig on, taking the wig off, and damn near ruins the dinner with the mayor. And Lorelai here is getting angry. It's like, what is wrong with this Hollywood? At least she thinks she can leave us high and dry. I know she's famous, but she doesn't need to treat us like garbage and abandoning us like that. And in the for lack of a better word, the kayfabe here is that Robbie Ray is Hannah's manager. So as the manager, she is going up to, hey, your client is screwing things up, and it feels like you're not telling me something. What is going on? And in the ultimate act of fatherly love, he sacrifices his own happiness to keep his daughter's secret. He could have, in that moment, told his new girlfriend, hey, Hannah and Miley are the same person. That's why she's running around like this. But no. He tells her, unfortunately, I do not have time for a relationship right now. Giving up his own happiness. For the first time in how many years, he finds some semblance of love with another person after his wife had died to protect his daughter.
Also, because the dinner goes so poorly, the table ends up getting set on fire. A couple of old people's wigs get snatched off, and
a ferret gets loose. Apparently, one of Miley's cousin has an emotional support ferret.
Yeah, I was like, here's the thing. This is one of the best, but also the most baffling things in the movie. A character has a ferret, which, good. More ferrets, please. Every movie should have a ferret, at least one.
Ferrets are Kiki's favorite animal, dear listener, if you didn't already know.
Yes. So there's really no reason for this movie to have a ferret other than ferrets are awesome and every movie should have one.
I think they just wanted one of Miley's relatives to have a quirk, and they thought, pet ferret.
I mean, they are the third most popular pet in the United States. So yeah, so one of Miley's relatives has a ferret, which good for him. And at some point, her brother decides to steal the ferret, and I don't know how that happened or why. It's
Yeah,
just all of a sudden at the mayor's dinner, he has the ferret.
like the movie starts with him, oh, I'm going to college in Tennessee. We see him in Tennessee, and he's now has a job working with animals. And he's just like the crocodile hunter for some reason.
Except no, he's not, because he gets like bitten by an alligator, but is apparently okay. I mean, I'm not saying
He's the comic relief character from the TV show, so he's kind of immortal.
that he wouldn't survive bites from an alligator. You can. I'm just saying he would be in serious pain and all that for the rest of the movie, and probably in the hospital.
Again, this movie seems to fly under sitcom rules, which means the comedy relief character gets injured in every episode and he's fine 5 minutes later. If he wasn't Miley's brother in the show, I don't think he would have been in the movie. But yeah, because he's working with animals, he has this ferret, and the ferret gets loose, and all hell breaks loose at the dinner. And yeah, everyone's mad at Hannah for doing this, even though it was the ferret, whatever.
And back to my point was that one of the reasons why, Billy Bobby Ray breaks up with Lorelai is because she blames everything on Hannah. And she's like, that girl, if we hadn't have invited her, she's just so selfish. And Billy Ray is like, hey, she's got a really complicated life, and she's got, whatever, and you should be more. And then he's like, I was lying to you. I don't really have time in my life for a relationship. I'm too focused on my daughter. Sorry about that if I led you on, but, we should probably break up.
Again, he's also the manager of Hannah Montana, so he has to also focus on his client, quote, quote. And again, keeping the secret that Hannah Montana and Miley Stewart are the same person. Keep in mind that this is right after getting upset that Miley keeps leaving their dinner date, Travis follows her into the other building and sees her taking off the wig. So now we have drama because, oh no, you lied to me. Why didn't you tell me that you were Hannah? I thought, I just had a conversation with Hannah about how I have a crush on you, and I was talking to you the whole time, because we need drama in this movie. So he sees his daughter crying, trying to keep this double life that's constantly blowing up in her face. And it shows that Bobby Ray really does care about his daughter as much as he's been kind of angry at her for, being Hannah more than she's been Miley. But, the fact that he gave up that chance with her to protect his daughter, that, says a lot.
Let's quickly sum up where we are. Her cowboy boyfriend is upset because he's found out about her double life. Her father has broken up with his first girlfriend in who knows how long because of her double life. She's very sad because of her double life. And now she's got to go save the town she comes from progressing at all because old people don't want to do anything fun. Are we all caught up?
Oh yeah, we skipped over it. The tabloid reporter has two daughters that are huge Hannah Montana fans.
Yeah, he's still skulking around, yeah. So we get to the big concert, and she starts out, singing, "Hey, I'm a pop star and I really like it." And about half a verse in, she looks out into the audience and she sees her dad and her grandma and the girlfriend her dad just broke up with, and the boyfriend she just broke up with, and her best friend who was mad at her and then suddenly wasn't mad at her anymore for no reason. They didn't make up. It just like the best friend showed up and was like, "Hey, I could never stay mad at you." Uh, and the guy that's been harassing her, and this one little girl that's been following her around trying to get her autograph, and all that we skipped over. But it's like the like, "I look up to you so much, Hannah," that kind of thing. Uh, and she's like, "You know what? I can't do this anymore. This is my hometown, and the last time I stood on this stage, I was just a little tiny Miley, and I can't lie to my family and my town, so I'm not really Hannah Montana. I'm Miley Stewart, and look, this is just a wig. It's not even real blonde hair." And everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, that's not her real hair. We are so shocked. That wig that looks like a wig is actually a wig." And then she sings a song that she's been working on during the movie.
Yeah, apparently there's a running gag through the movie of Miley songs may have no message, they have no heart, it's just a song for a song. And Miley finally decides to write a song from the heart, and she performs that song from the heart.
And it's The Climb, and you've heard it before because it was on the radio all the friggin' time about the time this movie came out. And it's based on something that Cowboy Boyfriend told her, which is that life is a climb, but the view sure is pretty from the top. You said this was a Hallmark movie, Tuesday.
Yeah. She finally understands the small town life can be a really good thing.
It's good to have nothing to do.
Keep the town as it is. You can't spend all your time in the big city. You gotta come home and you've seen these Hallmark movies. You know how it goes. I'm expecting a marriage between these two at the end of this movie.
And so she takes off the wig and she sings as herself, and she's like, "I'm really Miley," and everything, and everyone
I can't go back to being Hannah anymore. No, don't do it. If you're not Hannah Montana anymore, you'll never have a normal life. Hannah is a part of you. Please, Miss Miley, don't take Hannah away from us.
Come on, Spider-Man, we'll keep your secret. Thank you for saving the train.
Yeah, that's pretty much what this is.
Except even dumber, because there's more people and they all know her name. Like the thing with Peter Parker and it's just, he's just a kid. We don't know his name. Like, you're probably gonna forget that kid's face, you know? He looks like dozens of other kids, you know? Put back on the mask. Nobody took a picture. Nobody knows your name. We won't tell anybody you're just like a 17-year-old kid, okay? And probably nobody's going to believe you if you're like, "I once saw Spider-Man without his mask on. He's just a 17-year-old kid." You know? Like, that's just going to be a conspiracy theory if it gets out. Because there's no proof. You know? It's just a crazy person that says, "Yeah, I was on that train. I saw Spider-Man without his mask on. He's just a teenager." You know? It's your word against question mark. Okay? An entire town is like, yeah, if you follow Miley Stewart long enough, you're going to see her change into Hannah Montana. Like, that's a pretty easy thing to check up on. If enough people say that, you know?
And the entire town's going to keep that secret. There's not one person in that town that's going to think, "Hey, I could become rich if I just tell the tabloids Miley Stewart is Hannah Montana."
Yeah. And of course, the tabloid guy snaps a picture before she gets her wig back on, and they chase him around and try to get his cell phone and, like, get the picture, and he's like, no, 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 if you touch me, I'll hit send. And then all of a sudden his daughters show up, having just gotten off the plane from England, because Vanessa Williams flew them out there so that they could meet Hannah. And they're like, he sees that his daughters love Hannah so much that he's like, you know what? I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna call my editor and tell her that she's a horrible biznitch, and yeah.
That is the only unbelievable part of this movie. Out of all of the things in this movie that you could say, that is unbelievable, that can only happen in a sitcom, the fact that we have a tabloid reporter with potentially the news story of the decade about the biggest pop star in the world is actually having a double life as a regular person, and gives that up for, I don't want to break my daughter's heart. In that, if that was in the real world, the dude would have said, my daughters would get over it and hit send, because the idea of that fame, that money, would be too tempting. And you know what? I'll use the money to buy my kids something, and they'll forget who Hannah Montana even was.
Yeah, also, his daughters are going to a boarding school when we see them in England, and that is expensive. And he just quit his job. So I'm hoping maybe their mother has a really good job that can pay for their boarding school, if they like their boarding school. I mean, I think it's cruel to send children to boarding school, but that's a different thing. But, if they're happy there and have friends there and want to go back there and see their friends, they're not going back there unless their mom's making money.
Yeah, but the daughters are happy for now. Hannah Montana is still existing, and the concert raises enough money so they can buy the meadows and keep the town exactly as it is. Happy ending? Yeah. That's, and then, like I said, the closing credits is all of the cast members dancing to this hoedown throwdown.
The thing is that originally the movie, it is my understanding that the movie was going to end with her no longer being Hannah and just being Miley. Like, she may have still been a pop star or whatever, but she was not going to be Hannah. Like, this was going to be the end of the secret. Because they thought that the show was canceled. So I could be wrong about that, but that's my understanding. That's what I've read.
The movie had come out in the middle of the third season, which likely was already filmed at that point. So this was supposed to be the finale of the series, but hey, we just got picked up for one more season. We got to change the ending of the movie.
Yeah, so they changed the ending to, like, please put back on the mask, Spider-Man. We won't tell nobody. And all so that she could continue being Hannah and they could do the fourth season.
Yeah, so of course Hannah Montana will have one more season, and last year, 2024, Miley Cyrus was inducted as a Disney legend. Probably one of the youngest Disney legends. But yeah, she is officially a Disney legend for her role in Hannah Montana. So, Kiki, does Hannah Montana the movie have the magic?
No. I still like Miley Cyrus. Like, as a performer and a singer and stuff, I like her. This is not her best thing. Go listen to her music. Honestly, even go watch her weird episode of Black Mirror, which is not even great episode of Black Mirror, but it's better than Hannah Montana.
I'm going to also say no. Again, the Hannah Montana series was, I'm not in the age group that would have watched that. This movie is not good. I will go on record. This is a Hallmark movie done very badly. I think that Miley could have had a career as an actor if she kept at it, but she chose to focus more on her music career. Good for her. And she still does you mentioned it. She still does occasionally act, but yeah. This movie, no magic. This does not work for me. As for next week, we are going back into classic Disney, classic live action Disney, because we are going to be doing the original 1965 That Darn Cat. Yeah, there was a remake, but we are going to be talking about the original film. And I have not seen the original film in like 25 years. So it's going to be fun going back to that.
Yeah, same.
So come back next week for That Darn Cat, and we will talk to you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Don't let the magic stop here.
Keep the conversation going. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Rewatching the Magic.
We are also on Blue Sky, rewatchingthemagic.bsky.social. And new episodes are available at rewatchingthemagic.podbean.com and youtube.com/@rewatchingthemagic. Remember, the magic is for everyone.
It only stops if you let it.
We know that right now, things are tough.
But in the words of Jim Henson, the only way the magic works is by hard work. But hard work can be fun.
Check out our show notes for ways that you can help.